again. Today I'm planning to read you an extract from a book I wrote a couple of years ago which has not seen the light of day. I'm just revisiting it. My main problem with this book is not about the writing. It's brilliantly written. I thought it was a wonderful book. I was really happy with it, and then afterwards I thought to myself, you can't ever publish this book, Julia, because A, it talks about sex, B, it talks about forbidden substances, and C, it involves a load of people I know in the real world. So I'm a bit stuck there. But I recall this scene from it, which is about going to the hairdresser. You can see my hair is actually cut by me. I kind of pull a bit out and chop it off. I know we can go back to the hairdressers now. Everybody's been making appointments several weeks in advance and rushing off to have a good time getting their hair done. I have never enjoyed having my hair done, and this little episode demonstrates my attitude to hairdressers, really. Oh, and apparently, if you want to see any more of my videos in the similar ilk, you can click on the little button that looks like a bell, and ding ding, you will get a notification when there's another one out. Thank you very much. It feels like I spend most of the day having my hair done rather than going shopping, as I intended. I was going to combine shopping with taking the tax returns to the accountant, but hubby hasn't finished the accounts yet anyway. Every year the accountant delicately reminds us in April, and again in September, and again in November, and every year we seem to end up sending our tax returns in January, a week before the final deadline. Next year, I am determined that we will do it at the beginning of April and surprise the accountant. It's late morning when I go to the hairdresser on the parade. They often have a sign out offering walk-in highlights for £60 instead of £70, and hubby keeps nagging me to get more highlights done. He takes more interest in my hair than I do, sadly. The sign is out, so I go in and ask about availability. They say they can do me in the afternoon at 2. So I go home, get lunch and go back at 2. The receptionist asks me if I would like a drink, and I decline. Then the hairdresser asks me if I would like a drink, and I decline. We spend about 5 minutes trying to get clear what I actually want. Not because I don't know, but because the hairdresser speaks a different language, and I don't mean she's foreign. It's a language unique to hairdressers. It has a lot of vocabulary that, try as I might, I don't seem to be able to memorize. This is the 3rd time I've gone for highlights, so it's quite embarrassing that apparently I still can't get the hairdresser to understand what I want. I'm sure whatever she does, it'll be fine. So she goes to mix up her potion, comes back and commences to drag out slivers of hair and paint them with gunk before wrapping them in foil. She starts off by trying to converse, and I make an effort, truly I do, because I know hairdressers like to know all about your holiday plans and your children, and I want her to feel comfortable. But after a while, the conversation dries up, mainly because she doesn't seem that much interested in my family after all. When my entire head is covered in foil, she offers me a drink again. I thank her and ask for tea with milk and no sugar. She disappears. I start to read my new book, a copy of Alice Roberts' book that we sold out of at the last conference. I had to order one from Amazon, and it arrived this morning. It's quite hard to read with 20-year-old hits blaring out of the radio. I'm not one of those people like Poppy and Oscar who can focus on anything while music is playing. The music keeps drawing my attention away. But I persist. I'm reading about how dogs evolved from wolves and the sort of clues people now have to help them work out when and where it happened. Occasionally I look around for my tea, but it doesn't appear, and neither does the hairdresser. I'm rather disappointed because I could quite do with a cuppa now. After half an hour she returns and mutters, "When you're ready." I'm puzzled for a moment. She repeats herself, and I finally work out that she wants me over at the sink. She removes all the foils, a tricky task for someone wearing rubber gloves involving some pulling of hair. Then she wets my hair very thoroughly and proceeds to apply something that smells disturbingly like ice cream. Using a crude technique of scrubbing, snagging and tugging vigorously. Then she rinses it off and does the same thing over again. Then again, but this time the gunk smells powerfully of some kind of fruit. This is the main reason why I avoid having hairdressers wash my hair. They're so rough and so unnecessary with the amount of gloop they use. How anyone can enjoy it is beyond me. As she wraps a towel around my head, she asks whether I would like a drink. I pretend this has not been on my mind ever since the last time she offered it, and utter with forced jollity, "Oh yes, that would be lovely. Tea with milk and no sugar, please." We return to the chair, and she starts to cut. I wonder whether she has forgotten the tea again. But eventually someone brings a cup and places it in front of me. I take large gulps whenever she pauses in her snipping, but I don't want to interrupt her too much and the tea goes cold. It was too strong anyway. "How do you want it blow-dried?" she asks. "Well, just get the dryer and dry it, I'd say. Or give it me, I can do it." But no, she has to carefully clip little bits out of the way, roll other bits over her brush, and dry it strand by strand. Then, just when I think she's finished, she asks whether I'd like any serum or anything. Serum? I thought that was a constituent of blood. I decline with a decisiveness unusual for me. After that, she expects me to rave over how wonderful it looks, and all I want to do is go home. It's 4:30 and I've been there for 2.5 hours. Hairdressers don't bring out the best in me. Not their fault. Hubby likes my hair anyway. Personally, I'm not at all sure it was worth the agony. It is a startling hue of bright red and it stinks of chemical perfumes. Also, the texture is shiny and silky like a wig. Why can people never be happy with what nature gave them?